Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This video is for introducing, discussing chapter 1 in our course electronic business أو الإدارة الإلكترونية للأعمال. The title of the chapter is Introduction to Electronic Commerce. We have the main learning objectives here. The first thing is to define and understand the differences between e-commerce and e-business, the history of e-commerce, two waves, types of e-commerce, and the revenue models and business processes in electronic commerce. And then in the end, we will discuss the economic forces in the second wave of e-commerce. The first topic we have in this chapter is what is e-commerce and what is e-business. Definitions we have here in this slide, it simply says that e-commerce is buy and sell. So we have web, electronic media used for business trading with other businesses or with other companies. So it's shopping on the web and businesses trading with other businesses and other customers. However, we have another term that we use is e-business, which is the name of the course in general. E-business is more comprehensive because it's not only buying and selling. No, we may have electronic businesses that are used in different types of business activities, like in manufacturing, like in accounting, like in public relations, human resources. If you have an electronic system using networks, whether it's internet or not, wireless networks, databases, multimedia, digital assistants, any technologies we use electronically, this is e-business. So e-commerce is part of e-business. However, in some textbooks and in the media, they use e-commerce and e-business as if they are the same, as it's called here interchangeably. While in our course here, we differentiate between them. E-commerce is buy and sell. E-business is a system used for any business activities, including buying and selling. A very important term and a phenomenon we have in e-commerce activities is what they call it .com companies, the pure .com companies. These are businesses that operate only online. They don't have outlets or buildings in which they accommodate or deal with customer physically. No, they are there using catalogs, electronic web catalogs, in which for which customers or traders or whoever that you have relationship with are using to deal with the company. So it's there electronically only. This is the .com term we have in this course. I'm providing here a view of Ch01 as an example of such .com companies. So .com, you know it's only available online. It's not there available physically for customers like us. The second point we have in our chapter is types of e-commerce, our categories of e-commerce. We have, according to this slide, 5 ones: B2C, B2B, C2C, and then B2G, G2C. Before I introduce them, B2C and B2B are the main ones. Some textbooks and some readings, they don't really introduce these three. They consider them as parts of B2C and B2B. Let's introduce them. B2C stands for business to consumer. B2C are electronic commerce systems used for consumer shopping. So whenever a customer like me, for example, an end user, or I'm sorry, end customer like me, is using a website to buy something, so this is a B2C system. However, if we have a company is buying from another company, a business is dealing with another business, buying and selling or whatever, this is B2B. B2B company, and it is usually called e-purchasing or e-procurement system, because we usually deal with a company purchasing from another one. So transaction here conducted using web businesses between business and another business. There are some variations for that, or in our text it is considered as different ones. We have something called C2C. It's consumer dealing with another consumer, and we know that there are some electronic markets that facilitate, enable consumers to sell or buy from another consumer. This is called C2C. But it assumes that there is a marketplace that facilitate consumers deal with each other. Another type, and these two types involve government. So if a business is dealing with the government, it's called business to government. So B2G, business to government. If government is dealing with consumers, and we don't call it consumers here, we call them citizens, because government deal with not for really for with consumer, deal with citizens. This is called G2C. And a business is dealing with a government. As an example, if a company is doing some transactions with the government, like buying something or selling something to the government, or there are some tenders or auctions in which businesses are providing some offers for the government to do something or to perform some activities for the government. This is B2G. Or for taxation, they are paying taxes through electronic system. This is called B2G. The government is providing some services to the citizens, like for example في المرور الترافيك مثلا, or police, some police services, some taxation services for citizens. Most of the ministries have G2C electronic systems to serve citizens in different countries, and they call that e-government systems. Classically, in other textbooks, we will find B2C and B2B are the more common one, because C2C, number 3 here, and G2C, number 5, are usually referred to as B2C. Yani, for C2C, yes, we have a consumer is buying or selling to another consumer, but this is usually performed or done using a marketplace, which is a business that's there. So it is a business is enabling customers to deal with each other. So business to consumer can be more appropriate term for C2C and G2C. Also, B2G may be referred to as B2B, because we may refer to government as a business as well. So it's instead of B2G, we may say B2B. These are the two types. Actually, B2B is much greater than the B2C. We have some very old statistics actually from 2010. In 2010, كان السايز of السيلز including the EDI system. The EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange. This is the biggest B2B systems, and we will explain them in chapter 5 inshallah. السايز بتاعها كان 8,600 billions, which means 8.6 trillion dollars. I expect that this has been doubled nowadays. B2C was only 330 billions only in 2010. Electronically supporting business processes is greater than B2C and B2B. If we are doing anything electronically, this is the area of electronic systems in general. B2B is this side, the big one, and B2 consumer, business to consumer, is this side. Both of them are in the middle of the bigger view, which is concerning electronic systems in general. If we are dealing with electronic systems, so there are some terminologies we need to review together. We have terminologies like business process, terminology called activity, transaction, business model, revenue model, and so on. So if you are building an electronic system for buying and selling, or for transactions or relationships between two businesses, which is B2B, actually you need to understand the business processes you are dealing with. يعني ايه بقى؟ يعني what does it mean business process? A business process is how activities, the second term we have, are organized in one undertaking. Undertaking يعني في شغلانة واحدة. يعني how do we sell something? This is a business process. So what steps we go through, what operational documents we use for such sales activity, for such business process, and in what order, and how, and then if we are using a system, so then we have a system that covered such business process. In such business process, we have what is called exchanges. So we give and get something. So we send some data and get some other data. In purchasing something, we give price quotes and we get sales order from the customer. And then we give the customer the an invoice, and then he send the cash, and then we send the products. We forgot the goods itself, and then then they. So these are the three important terms we have, and we have more ones to provide an understanding of what are the basics of having an electronic support for business processes. A B2B or B2C or any e-business system, it's merely some systems for doing electronic support of business process. What is a business process? It is the collection of activities which have transactions. Transactions means give and get, exchange of data, materials, and whatever for a specific business process. Before we complete the terminologies we have in this understanding of e-business, we have here, I brought here some figure about the categories of systems: B2C, B2B, and C2C, B2G. Here we have the general terminology, business processes that support buying and selling activities, and we have description for each one. I already provided some description for what does it mean B2C. If you read this, you will find businesses sell products or services to another businesses. Examples, we have examples here. Walmart, for example. Here we have Granger.com. This is B2B, of course. This is a big company that sells maintenance and stuff for other companies. So I recommend, I suggest for you, actually it's very important that you study this figure and try out these websites. They are good examples of typology or categories of e-commerce systems. Let's complete with the terminologies. We introduced terminology called business process here, activity, transactions. Another term we have here is business model. A business model is a collection of business processes that we understood from the previous slide. A business process and another business process and a third business process together combined together form what is called the business model. A business model معناها the way my business is organized. So if I have a business that we have a process for selling and another process for purchasing and a third process for HR and a fifth one for IT and so on, if we combine these processes together, it tells or it shows how do I do business. How do I do business? It is the business model. So a set of processes combined to achieve a company goal, to do its activities. There is some notes here that says business models that has been adapted and the early successful examples like Amazon.com or eBay usually copied. يعني لما بتلاقي حاجة ناجحة الناس بتقلدها يعني we're copied. فالcopying ده أو imitating was a phenomenon, was a trend in e-business الحقيقة and e-commerce. Whenever there is an e-commerce idea that proved its business model proved to be successful, somebody is all the company, all other companies, many companies, they imitate them. So in the first wave, as we will see in the history of e-commerce, when it came, many startup companies with new internet-driven business models, successful ones were copied by many investors. However, in our textbook, طبعا, we will see that you need to come up with something unique. If you imitate so probably you will end up losing some advantages of being different because pioneers, the early starters, usually they reap the advantages, and الcopying بيترتب عليه more competition that hurt those who came second. So instead of copying a model, examine business elements and streamline, enhance, replace with internet technology driven process. So understand your business processes and have a business model that is unique. There's a part of a business model called revenue model. معايا يعني البيزنس موديل ده this is how we do business for the whole company. Part of the business model is how do I get money, how do I sell, how do I get revenues. This part is called revenue model. It's a specific collection of business processes to identify customers, market products and services, and generate sales and revenue. So it's the part that generate sales and revenue. It's called a revenue model. So how do I generate sales and revenue? Do I sell advertisements? Do I have commissions? So my revenue model emphasize commissions, or I sell some products, or I get my money revenue part of my business from advertisements. So this is what is called the revenue model we have here. So the essence of e-businesses, electronic businesses, is to focus on business process. Okay, so it could be you are automating or you are making an e-business for purchasing مثلا raw materials of goods for sale. يعني ال purchasing part بتاعك انت عايز تعمل له e-business with ال suppliers. Or converting materials and labor into finished goods. This is the production part. Or managing transportation and logistics and shipping and so on. So you understand the business process. You understand the business process, and then you provide an electronic system to support that. Hiring and training employees. This is another business process. You understand this and provide a model for it and develop a system for hiring and training employees. Managing business finances, but this is برضه another process. These are examples of a business process. Okay, and you may develop a system for one of them as a company I'm talking about, and that would be an e-business system. Identifying processes benefiting from e-commerce technology and using the internet technology, improve existing business processes, identify new business opportunities, and adapt to change. This is the essence of الاي business الحقيقه. يعني بيبقى في عمليات كده، يعني احنا we see ان احنا if we had a system for them، العمليات يعني business processes يعني that would improve these such business processes and will make a great change for the organization. يبقى now we finished in our chapter so far introduction about the definition of e-commerce and e-business, and then we gave an understanding for the differences between different types of e-commerce systems اللي هي ال B2B وال B2C and so on, and then we gave some discussion of the terminologies like business model, revenue model, business process, activity, transactions, and so on. The last part in our lecture here is about the history of e-commerce. We have two waves in the history of e-commerce. The first wave كان mid 90s to 2000 تقريبا. ده كانت الفترة اللي هي has e-commerce was born، اتولد في الفترة دي. كان في rapid growth. It was the start of the .com. The .com companies came and للأسف الشديد at the end of that حصل bust. يعني حصل ايه؟ يعني انحدار ضخم فيها، او يعني failure. Not really a failure، يعني احنا we may say ان هي ايه they lost belief in the .com companies. يعني ال early start كان wow something very interesting, and then at the 2000 before 2000 الحقيقة كان في ايه some dark news reports عنها ان هي they are lots of losses حصلت of such systems and so on. لكن على 2003 حصل again growth again and more interest again in such systems. فهنا signs of new life, sales growth and profits for e-commerce systems. احنا we have two waves الحقيقة. الويف الأولانية كان بداية على استحياء, and then the second wave كان after some bust happened and then reborn again. 1997 to 2000 irrational experience. These are statistics of the first wave. كان تقريبا at that time 12,000 internet related business started. This is in America. 100 billion of investors money. يعني كان في 100 مليون billion I'm sorry. 5,000 or more companies went out of business or acquired. الفترة اللي كانت سيئة اللي هي 2000 to 2003 200 billion invested, fueled online business activity growth rebirth. دي هي الفترة اللي حصل فيها rebirth. And then online B2C sales growth continued after 2003 due to increasing number of people with internet access, B2B sales online increasing steadily, and so on. I'm providing here another insert جدول أنا أخدته من الكتاب. I would like you to read it carefully. It provides some comparison between the first wave and the second wave of e-commerce in different dimensions. So the first wave it wasn't international, it was only US stuff لأن الإنترنت اتولد هناك, right? And in the second wave احنا we have some international presence for the e-commerce systems. The language can't only English, it became different languages after 2003 and more and so on. I would like you to read all this. It provided differences between this one and that one. الحقيقة I would like to say something. in الفيرست ويف الحقيقة كان فيه enthusiasm يعني حماس يعني for the idea of selling and buying and doing business using the internet and so on, and everybody put lots of money at that time in e-commerce system, and there were those mottos and sayings that if you didn't develop an e-commerce system, you will be out of business. يعني انت هتخسر لان everybody will be online. many people rush toward these systems, and كان بتوع الاي تي كانوا ما شاء الله كانوا يعني they made a lot of money and they saying whatever they want. They became more knowledgeable. They pretend ان هم they understand business more than the business persons. However, after they developed their systems, they proved in هم they don't know much business. They are techie يعني technical persons, and they don't know what marketing is, what sales is, and so on. So this in general, the differences between the two waves, enthusiasm here, and then in the second wave, it came after some bust, some decline in sales. Those IT people gave lots of promises and they couldn't fulfill, they couldn't meet, they couldn't provide or achieve the objectives of whatever they were saying. And then they came back in the second wave, telling that we learned the lesson, we need to understand business before we talk about information technology or e-commerce. So then a new, a better, more enlightened way for doing e-business came in the second wave. So it seems ان هي ان شاء الله هتبقى او بقت بالفعل more successful trend the second wave after that. Inshallah, in the second lecture we will talk about product process suitability to electronic commerce and the economic perspective for e-commerce. Thank you.